Guys, welcome back to another updated Game Week 1 draft. I have once again been indecisive and changed my whole team around, and we're going to look at what I did and why I made these changes. And I'm also going to discuss some transfer plans I've got going on in the works for future game weeks. I'm thinking ahead, getting ahead of the competition. This is how you win FPL. This is how you win your mini leagues. So, guys, take note. Without further ado, let's get into the goalkeeper position. Now, firstly, I did have Sanchez from Chelsea in every single one of my Game Week 1 drafts. But now I've been looking at the stats a bit, listening to some experts, and I've come to the conclusion Flecken is the best choice to own in FPL. Brentford concede the most shots from outside the box, which means the Brentford goalkeeper is normally going to be making the most saves. I mean, the lower down teams, the relegation teams, their goalkeepers are always going to be making the most saves. But with Flecken, he's also got a lot of clean sheet potential. This is why Raya, before he joined Arsenal, was a very useful FPL goalkeeper at only 4.5. He was making loads of saves and even sometimes getting bonus points when they didn't get a clean sheet. So Flecken could be a reliable 4.5 goalkeeper to get you 3 or 4 points a game week when he doesn't get a clean sheet. And when he does get a clean sheet, you could be looking at 8 or 9 pointers. And since Flecken's preseason has just been a tiny bit stinky, I've gone and got the Brentford backup goalkeeper in there as well. Probably won't need it, but better to be safe than sorry because I don't plan on owning any other Brentford players for a long while, at least until I wildcard. Guys, let me know what you think about the goalkeeper position. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to get a 4.5 to make saves? Are you going to get Pickford or Leno at 5 mil? Or maybe you'd even get Raya at 5.5 mil for that clean sheet potential, covering that Arsenal defence? Let me know. On to the almighty defence. Now, I have changed this round quite a bit. I used to have Trent and Gvardiol in there, but I realised I couldn't make the best draft while trying to fit Trent into my defence. So I've saved 1 mil there, and I originally thought I'd downgrade him to Robertson, but then I thought about it, I thought more clearly, and I actually moved from Trent to Saliba. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Arsenal fixtures aren't good. Why are you going for an Arsenal defender? Well, I got to thinking, first of all, you have Wolves at home and Brighton at home in Game Week 1 and 3, and they're pretty good fixtures. But game week 2, 4, and 5, they play Tottenham, Aston Villa, and Man City all away from home. And at first, you'd think there's no way Arsenal keeping a clean sheet in any of those games. But we have to remember, games like Arsenal versus Man City, especially in Arteta versus Pep era, they've been historically low scoring. And I thought, if Arsenal can keep a clean sheet against Man City, they can keep a clean sheet against any team in the entire league. So why would I not get an Arsenal defender and just hold him, have him set and forget there past the first few tough game weeks? Then after the game week 6, the fixtures get really, really good. I'm just going to go for him because Saliba, secure minutes, Arsenal defence is solid, can keep a clean sheet against anyone. He's just a good, safe option. And if it turns out to be a bad idea, I can easily transfer him to any other defender in the game except Trent. Gvardiol has been in my team since the game launched, and he's definitely not going anywhere. He's probably going to be playing left wing at Man City, and he might be the new Cancelo. I think Pep will like him a lot. The only risk is a bit of squad rotation, which is obviously possible with Pep. But for now, I'm going to stick with Gvardiol because if Gvardiol does become a rotation risk, like with Saliba, he's 6 mil. I can transfer him to almost any defender in the game. Now I've cheaped out. I've been a bit stingy with the remaining defenders. I've got one 4.5 defender in Mikalenko because 4.5 mil, he's cheap. And Everton are good at clean sheets. They kept the second most last season behind Arsenal. And their fixtures aren't too bad. There are some tough ones in there, which I'm going to have to be covering with my bench options in Harwood Bellis and Barco, which isn't ideal. But I couldn't spread the funds anywhere else. I really wanted to get an extra 4.5 defender, but with a Haaland and Salah draft, it's kind of hard to spread out the money. But yeah, that's the defense. Nothing special. Haven't gone big on it, but I haven't gone too small on it either. I've got Saliba and Gvardiol, who are going to be in pretty much every game week, whichever fixture they have. Then I'm going to rotate Mikalenko with Barco and Howard Bellis when I see fit, even though there's not much hope for either of those two 4 million defenders. Onto the midfield now. Obviously, it is a Haaland and Salah draft. So Salah is going in that midfield first of all. 12.5 mil, playing Ipswich away. What's not to love? I mean, guys, I've said it once and I'll say it again. 7 seasons of 200 plus points in a row. The best FPL asset of all time. Good fixture run. Why wouldn't you get him? I've been telling everyone, if there's one player I could say to you, get in your team 100%, it would be Mo Salah. I hate Liverpool. Okay, guys, look, you see this? I don't like him, but Salah is really good, and it's the best opening fixture run out of any team in the league. It's going to be very scary to go without Salah. You can't really cover him with Trent or Szoboszlai, even though they could be good options. Maybe another Liverpool attacker like Luis Diaz. They're good options, but none of them are going to cover Salah. You're also going to have a lot of upside because he's got less than 40% ownership. He's borderline differential for you guys. There's going to be a lot of positive benefits you get out of owning Salah. Definitely worth the 12.5 mil price tag. Now, because we've got two big premiums in Haaland and Salah, we're going to have to be a bit cheap on the other three midfielders. We're going to be playing a 3-4-3 on the bench. I've just got 4.5 mil Winks because he's got the highest predicted points out of any 4.5 midfielder. First up, I'm going to talk about Eze. Now, looking at the predicted points for the opening fixtures of FPL, Eze is up there with all the premiums in the game, up there with Son, Palmer, and Saka, and obviously a little lower than Haaland and Salah. So Eze obviously is predicted to get many, many points, even though his fixtures are, medium at best. They're not great, but they're not awful. The likely scenario is Eze is involved in around 50% of Crystal Palace goals. So if in the first 6 game weeks Crystal Palace score 10, Eze's probably got around, 4 to 6 goal contributions, shall we say. Obviously, that's no guarantee, but his percentage expected goal involvements, yes, that is a thing. He is expected 50% of Crystal Palace goals. And that's how it was last season as well. Looking at the expected goals, the expected assists, his percentage expected goal involvements was around 50%. He is the main man at Crystal Palace along with Mateta. So it's really interesting to see how Crystal Palace do now without Elise. I think they'll get a bit worse as a team, but Eze, as an FPL asset, could get a lot better because he's going to be a lot more involved. He's going to be on pretty much every single one of those set pieces. And for only 7 mil, that is an absolute bargain, guys. So definitely get on Eze. Next one is Nkunku. Don't need to talk much about Nkunku. Every expert has gone on about him. I know he plays Man City at home, and I could maybe bring someone else in for Game Week 1, then switch onto Nkunku. But I think with the new rule of being able to bank up 5 transfers, it's better to save my transfers in this scenario. So I'm just going to play Nkunku home to Man City in Game Week 1 because the fixture run after that is pretty insane. A lot of good fixtures. So why not have him? Finally, in that midfield, we've got Leon Bailey, and it's a similar thought process to Nkunku. I did want to bring in Leon Bailey for Game Week 3 when his fixtures get good, but I thought it may be worth just holding on to my transfers. So maybe later on I can use a mini wild card with my free transfers instead of using an actual wild card. So I'm going to play Leon Bailey through the first 2 tough fixtures, playing away to West Ham, and the slightly harder one is home to Arsenal. It's not going to be easy for him, but I think he could pick up a goal involvement in one of those games. The good thing about Leon Bailey is that his main competition, Diaby, is going to the Saudi League, meaning Leon Bailey's going to get more minutes, and his expecting goal involvements were already quite high as a rotation player, or not a rotation player, but someone who only plays 60 to 70 minutes. Now he might be playing around 80 to 90. It's going to be even higher. So definitely a player you guys should be looking to bring in around Game Week 3 time, or if you're like me and you want to save your transfers, just bring him in now. He's a good 6.5 value. Let me know what you guys think of my midfield. Are these mid-priced players going to be able to hold their own against the likes of Odegaard, Bruno, Saka? It's probably not, but we've got Salah and Haaland to make up for it. Let's talk about that front 3 now. Alongside Haaland, we've got Isak and Wood. This front 3 has been the same for pretty much the entirety of FPL 24-25 since the game launched. I'm a huge fan of this front 3. I think with Haaland, if you get your captaincy right, he's fully worth the 15 mil. You can get him on a brace or a hat-trick, which you'll score a lot of, and double that to 26 or 34, you're going to be in the clear. People's players like Son, Palmer, and Saka scoring a 10-pointer won't be as bad as you think when you've got that Haaland captaincy. On top of that, if Haaland does turn out to be a bad asset, I can easily sell him and go to any other player in the game. With Isak, the plan is to own him for the first 2 game weeks and sell him to Watkins in Game Week 3. Now, that's easier said than done. If he does get 2 or 3 returns in the first 2 game weeks, I will be a lot more reluctant to sell him. But like I said, with Leon Bailey, the Aston Villa fixture run is absolutely insane. Definitely something you want to be targeting. And Watkins is obviously Aston Villa's main man. He could even be on penalties next season, which is huge because Douglas Luiz has left to Juventus. So yeah, that's the plan. Not 100% sure on it yet, but this team does have 0.5 in the bank just in case. So I can easily move up to him without moving anyone else around in the team. Finally, my main man, Wood. Guys, I love Chris Wood. There's obviously a lot of competition in my team, whether I pick Wood or Muniz, but I'm consistently going with Wood. I think Wood has secure minutes. Muniz might do as well, but obviously they've both got striker competition. Chris Wood has got Awoniyi, Muniz has got Raul Jimenez. The difference is with Muniz is that he kind of dropped off in form towards the end of the season, whereas Wood was on fire. I don't see why Nuno would ever consider benching him over Awoniyi when Chris Wood's conversion rate is absolutely insane. Muniz probably will start every game as well, but I think he could be an earlier sub, earlier than Chris Wood at least. So we'll see how that one goes. I may make a last minute decision and go to Muniz over Wood because they're both insanely good for 6 mil. But right now, I'm on Chris Wood. So yeah, guys, that is the 15 players in my Game Week 1 team. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not 100% locked in. There is still like a week to go before the deadline, so anything could change. But I'm pretty happy with how it's looking right now. I'm going to show you the transfer plans I kind of have looking ahead to Game Week 3. Obviously, we've got Leon Bailey to target those Aston Villa fixtures, but I may want to triple up on Aston Villa with a couple of free transfers I'll have. And I could do that in multiple ways. I could go from Isak to Watkins, like I said, and I could go to another defender like Konza or Pau Torres, whoever's got reliable minutes basically, just to hop on them Aston Villa clean sheets, because Aston Villa, they're decent defensively. But I may only do one of these moves. I may keep Isak and not go for Watkins and just go for a defender instead. It all depends on the form of the first 2 game weeks, really. But this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a roll of the transfer in game week 2, then making my moves in game week 3, or maybe just saving them again. I could roll again if I'm happy with the way the team's looking. The point is, there's many avenues to go down with this team. I could even sell Haaland or Salah if one of them is not worth their budget. It's very flexible. I can do whatever I want. You know, I'm setting this up so I've got many avenues to go down. So yeah, guys, that's currently how I'm set up for game week 1. Let me know what you think of my team. Am I the worst FPL player you've ever seen? Is my team similar to yours? Is it completely different? Let me know in the comments. Now, make sure you are all subscribing. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the FPL season. Make sure you're joining my mini league. Code is on the screen, X15SDI. If you did make it this far, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.